Welcome to the Electorate. I am your host, Ian West. On today's episode, the Dow is down 3.98%. The S&P 500 is down 4.84%. The NASDAQ is down a whopping 5.97% in the wake of Donald Trump's Liberation Day, which is just a star-spangled bullshit code for mass tariffs. So let's dive in. So on Wednesday, Donald Trump held a press conference at the White House announcing the widely awaited tariff plan that was not leaked or revealed until such a time as he revealed it at 4 p.m. on Wednesday. There was talk that he might do 20% tariffs across the board. There was talk that he might do 10 to 20% depending on the country. What Donald Trump ultimately settled on was a 10% baseline tariff for all countries and then reciprocal tariffs for many, many, many countries that seem to be based on absolutely nothing and just made up off the top of his head. So, leading the way in those tariffs, and some of the biggest countries being impacted here, and I'll put the charts right up here for you guys. China is getting a 34% tariff. The European Union is getting 20%. Vietnam is getting 46%. Taiwan is getting 32%. Japan, 24%. India 26%, and South Korea with 25%. Now, there are many countries on this list getting various percentages, some of them receiving just the baseline, many of them receiving much, much, much more. He's also seems to be putting tariffs on penguins and countries that don't really do any exports to the United States. No idea why, probably because this administration has no fucking idea what it's doing, but let's dive into what this really means. So, the stock market seems to have lost about 2.65 trillion the day after Liberation Day, or the announcement of Donald Trump's tariffs. I'll say that again, 2.65 trillion. The market is showing no signs of slowing down. I would expect it to continue to go down. Perhaps it'll stabilize, perhaps it won't. In the wake of these tariffs, many countries have said that they will implement retaliatory tariffs, to which we know, since we're doing reciprocal tariffs, that Donald Trump will then just increase the ones for the United States to those countries. So we are well on our way to a full-fledged global trade war. So, what does this mean? Well, China, South Korea, and Japan have already come together and stated that, hey, we are going to work together to jointly deploy tariffs against the United States. What this means, we don't quite know yet. It's interesting to see that our allies and our global economic competitors actually coming together to work against us. That's exactly where you want to be, I think. And what it probably means is that they will reduce tariffs amongst each other so that they can do a better job of absorbing the tariffs from the United States in an effort to get us to back down. I don't really see Donald Trump backing down because he's a lame duck president. He's got nothing to lose. He doesn't give a fuck. This doesn't affect most of any of the people that he works with. So we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong there. The one situation that I could see being wrong there is if finally everyone turns on him and says, hey, you've got to walk these back, or we're going to go to Congress and Senate, and we do have a 2/3 veto-proof majority to get these overturned. And he says, okay, well, I'll walk them back. I blame Howard Lutnick. I fire him, and then we move on. That's probably, sadly, best case scenario in this instance. I don't see that happening right now, but that's best case scenario. What he's trying to do, I get the logic of it, but this is A, not the way to do it, B, not the fucking time to do it, and it's going to cause a lot more than just some headaches from people. So I see a lot of talking heads on various news outlets, on social media and different places saying, well, there's going to be pain for a while. Like it's going to be challenging. There's going to be some pain for a while. Except Howard Lutnick, he seems to think everything's all fucking roses right now. But there's going to be pain for a while. It's going to be hard, but we're going to get through it, and America's going to be stronger for it. But that now is not the time for that. Like, we're already dealing with massive inflation. Just putting more inflation on top with that, on top of that, does not make the average American. It's not just a little bit of discomfort. At that point, it's you can't afford to live. We already have massive consumer debt. We already have massive credit card debt, and a large part of that is because the consumers just can't afford their basic needs. So, okay, and even if you can now, and some of the talking heads are basically saying, well, now you just got to stop making those big purchases. No iPads, no iPhones, maybe no new cars for a while. And yeah, sure, financially for them, that's sound advice. No big purchases while things are going up. That's going to stagnate the economy too. If people are not purchasing, like, consumer sentiment is literally the number one driver of the economic health. And if consumers are not consuming, if we're not purchasing, then the economy is just going to tank. You add inflation on top of that, you're asking for more than a recession. You are asking for something just absolutely dreadfully bad. And it's not a matter of just suck it up for a little while. Like, this is going to have life-altering impacts for many, many, many people for years and years. I mean, imagine if you're somebody who was on the cusp of retirement this year or next year, even the year after, and you are watching your 401k just fucking evaporate in front of your eyes. Some people might be losing tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars of their 401k that they've paid into their entire fucking lives, and it's just gone in the blink of an eye because we have a narcissistic president who just can't be fucking told that, hey, your idea is stupid and it's going to tank the economy. So it's really not that simple. If you want to tell me that you want to do targeted tariffs for certain industries graduated over time in an attempt to slowly bring industry back to the United States, I can get on board on that with that. I have no idea if I'm going to agree with the way you want to do it or anything like that, but the logic to me, I can get on board with that. Blanket tariffs, some of them just fucking astronomical. And again, based on probably made up figures, because it includes not just trade barriers. Well, he puts trade barriers. He specifically doesn't put tariffs. Trade barriers, where he can work a whole bunch of other things into it, but also currency manipulation, a number he could just fucking make up. There's no transparency on this. So he says that we have a 67%, China charges a 67% tariff on U.S. goods coming in. Okay, as somebody who has done business in China, I know this is not fucking true. And this is the first one on the chart. So as soon as I saw this chart, I was like, okay, well, that's a fucking lie. As somebody who helps import for a customer in Vietnam, like, I know that they do not pay a 90% tariff on the goods that we sell them. It's 5 fucking percent, not 90. It is 5% into Vietnam. This is just made up bullshit. They found some figures that were large that they liked, and they put those through and then made the tariff charge to the USA fit that mold. And they're based on fucking lies, just flat out based on lies. Okay. Second, there are some industries that are being tariffed so heavily that they're going to make consumer goods extremely expensive that do not exist in the United States anymore. There's no just bringing these jobs back. There's not factories and equipment waiting to manufacture some of these items. The color pigment industry in the United States is more or less non-existent. Do you know how much pigmentation is used in the United States to produce all sorts of goods, apparel, automotive, anything that has color in it comes from a pigmentation. We just do not have the industry we can't just bring that back here. That's not something you just fucking bring back here, okay? It just can't happen. You talk about, and as somebody who made a pact last year to buy nothing but United States made apparel, mostly as a barrier for me to purchase because it is so expensive. I know how expensive it is to buy American made t-shirts T-shirts, American-made clothing of all kinds. It's incredibly expensive, and most people just cannot fucking afford that increase. Simple. They just can't do it. Okay. And this is not just going to affect those goods. You talk about, so say a car company could bring manufacturing back to the United States. Okay, you got Honda, say they could manufacture. They are still purchasing electronics, computer chips for the vehicles. Parts, basically anything that goes in this vehicle is still coming from other countries. There is a long line in the supply chain of stuff that will have to be resolved before Americans are ever even going to sniff a stabilization of price. And that's not even, I mean, that's not even factoring in the increase that these companies are going to have to pay to build more, to bring in more equipment, to hire more people. Sure, wages might go up. If we were able to bring manufacturing back, wages might go up. But guess what that's going to do? It's just going to increase the cost again. Like that is inflationary. And Republicans spent all this time telling us that we can't increase the minimum wage in the United States because that's just going to make everything cost more. Well, what the fuck are you doing now? Like, come on, seriously, what are you doing now? You are, and this seems to have no other real purpose than to be inflationary. Like Donald Trump has been extremely unclear as to what he's even trying to accomplish with these tariffs. With Mexico and Canada, it was okay. Well, if you stop fentanyl from coming into the country, we'll back off of the tariffs. Well, these are supposed to be revenue drivers. So if you're just going to back off of them for particularly Canada, if you're just going to back off of these tariffs because they stopped whatever limited amount of fentanyl was coming in the country, then that revenue driver is just now gone. You gave it away. Donald Trump has also stated that if you're willing to come to the negotiating table on these tariffs, maybe we can do something. And then the White House released a statement today saying that, no, these are not the beginnings of negotiations. These tariffs are in place. So we just have no transparency on what he's trying to accomplish, what he wants to do. And the only thing that's going to be accomplished, and we've already seen a few companies announce it today, Stellantis being one, that they're laying off U.S. workers because of this. Volkswagen has already announced that they're going to have to raise prices on their vehicles because of this. And it's just, there's no way this ends in any possible way but negative. This is not going to be a short-term little bit of pain for maybe a few weeks or a few months and then things will stabilize. No, this is going to be long-term harmful impacts on the United States as a geopolitical force. And even, when Trump is gone, when Republicans don't have control of House and the Senate, like when all that happens, we are still going to have, people hesitant to work with us on this kind of stuff because we might just be a midterm away or a stone's throw away from getting somebody back in there who's going to repeat this bullshit. And that's going to be their thought process, is that we're just too far gone. So we're going to keep monitoring this tariff situation as it unfolds. I do not expect good news to come next time we talk about this, but maybe he will have backed off of these tariffs by the weekend. We are going to come back at you with some more episodes next week. Hope you have a good weekend, as good as you can, and we'll see you next time. Like, share, subscribe, comment, tell me I'm wrong, tell me I'm right, tell me some more information, tell me something you want me to cover. I'd love to hear it. I'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.